What is up, Earthnoids and Spacenoids? I am just a simple new type, and in this episode we are diving back into the story of Flanagan Boone and the Mad Angler unit. Last time we learned about Boone and his relationship with Garma Zabi. After the death of the young Zabi heir, Boone was lost and let his demons take control. In this episode, the Mad Angler will launch and head towards Hawaii. On its way, things will go bad, but Boone flips the ship, literally. So let's get into this. Boone is talking to Rear Admiral Diem. He has one of EFF's elite soldiers, Saqua Renoh. The Admiral smashes her face into the table. Boone yells at him for breaking the Antarctic Treaty, which doesn't allow you to torture POWs. It is clear that he doesn't care, so that pretty much sums up everything you need to know about the Mad Angler Corps that Boone just joined. Diem and the Gal will be the eyes and ears in the sky, guiding the Mad Angler team, who will be underwater. This is called Operation Jet Black. Renault used to be the commander of the Lockwood-class sub. Like many of the aquatic-based Zeon weapons, the Mad Angler-class ship was designed based off of EFF's Lockwood-class ship. The subs were originally deployed in UC-0075 and is named after Charles Andrews Lockwood, a U.S. Navy Vice Admiral during World War II. Of course, after Garma takes California base, Zeon took the Lockwood class and created the Mad Angler class. They intend to make it to Hawaii in 5 days, which is pushing it, but the Mad Angler is faster than the Lockwood. As they catch good speeds, Boone hears Renault. She leaves an open communications line to her ship for some reason. That is when Diem starts doing sadistic things to Renault. The Mad Angler crew begins doing deep dive tests. Renault says that the ship can handle up to 1,000 meters in depth. They're at 500 meters, which is the current limit to the Zaku Marine. 800 meters, 900, 1,000, 1,050, 1,100. The ship goes through turbulence, then silence. But only for a brief moment because the power suddenly goes out. Electrical systems and engines are starting to shut down. They begin switching over to backup power. They can't go any lower or they will be crushed under pressure. Boone calls out to Renault and Diem. We cut to the Gal where Renault ignores him. She has killed the bridge crew. All but the Admiral are still alive. She grabs a knife and returns the favor to Admiral Diem. From all of her scars, it is clear that he was flaying parts of her skin. She takes the knife and drives it through his chest, killing him. She strips down to disguise herself as a Zeon, revealing even more parts of her body have been flayed. Boone gets no response from anyone, so he assumes command. Boone will be freed from his demons in 45 days. Things are going crazy on the Gal. One man runs towards the bridge to find everyone dead. Renault comes up behind him and stabs him in the back. She runs off the bridge. The wounded soldier comes crawling out and yells at everyone to stop her. She heads out in one of the Zakus and begins destroying all of the Dops. She gets out of a mobile suit and gets into a Wappa. The Zeon soldiers wonder how she knows how to use all their weapons. She drops grenades and goes on a rampage. Renault approaches one soldier that tells her she is going to hell. She says that she doesn't care about the Federation or Zeon and shoots him. Meanwhile, what is happening with the Mad Angler? Everyone is starting to panic, but Boone gets on the comms and inspires his people not to give up. He tells them that they will make it back to the surface. Sitting in silence is Godard. I'm not going to remember that. Soleil Renault tells his sister, Saqua Renoh, about a Cyclops that lives on the moon. They both stare out at the California Sea. This is a flashback to a time before Zeon took command of California base. She loved being in the sea, but during the colony drop on Sydney, a chunk began falling off. Most hit the Pacific Ocean, but some ended up hitting the Pacific coast. Renault and her brother lost everything, including their parents. Waves started flooding the coastal areas of California. Her unit helped out as much as they could. EFF sent Sergeant Major Cody, who looks like he came out of an original Planet of the Apes movie. Suddenly, out of the sky comes Zaku's. They begin taking over North America. During an attack, Renault is knocked out trying to save her brother. Zeon soon captures the territory. They hold a parade for Garma. Amongst the men is Flanagan, Boone. The Cyclops eye of the Zaku haunts Renault's mind. She wakes up on her Lockwood ship with Soleil by her side. Cody has taken over the ship and essentially turned it into a pirate ship. The entire fleet has lost their way while she was passed out. They are eventually captured and held prisoner. That is where she meets Admiral Doem. He gives her the scar on her chest and says he will keep her crew and brother alive in exchange for giving Zeon her aquatic knowledge. She says that they turned her Lockwood into a demon. While she is in prison, her and other prisoners are informed of Garma Zabi's death. Everyone spreads rumors about the Gundam. All Renault wants to do, however, is head back to the California beaches. Ugh, that's an exhausting stereotype. I'm a 10-minute drive from a California beach, and I went maybe once last year. You know what? I'm not going to a beach this summer despite this fictional character. Take that. At the 7th POW camp, former Renault squad members are still being held up. A Zeon officer named Alhip Rapizo is working to get the Renault squad freed. She apologizes for the actions that they have been through, as all of them have been tortured, but since they became pirates, they were no longer recognized as soldiers, and they found a loophole. A soldier comes rushing in to tell them that Admiral Diam's gal is coming back to the base. Of course, it is Renault. She begins dropping bombs and firing its Vulcans. Renault jumps out in a Zaku. She sends out a message to return her brother immediately. Alhip goes to grab her brother, but she points a gun at him and tells her to turn herself in. She grabs her before she is able to do anything. Ooh, there's even crack sound effects. It looks like her spine might be crushed. She ain't looking good. She gets out of her mobile suit and hands her brother a gun. She tells him to kill the Zeon officer, or she will leave him here. She plans on taking back California. Soleil shoots her in the shoulder. Renault says to shoot her again. After taking the base, they gather everyone. Her plan is to take the Gundam, but first, they need more firepower. They need to capture the Mad Angler. Renault plans on getting the Mad Angler herself. What was once her ship is now a mere shadow of its former self. She assumes that the Boone team are all dead from oxygen deprivation by now. They are using an electronic oxygen generator to stay alive after the seaweed to oxygen converter went down. They are starting to lose track of what day it is. Morale is at an all-time low. Boone sits with the Godard and they have a meal together. He says that since they are all about to die, they may as well live freely until then. Uzuo tells Boone that they will have to switch over from diesel to battery soon, but it is a big ship and takes some time. Boone will be free from his demons in 42 days. They wait for someone, anyone. 41 days. All the Mad Angler crew can do is wait. Meanwhile, Renault and her team is on the search. One of her crewmates informs her of some intel, but she is daydreaming about hitting those sweet California waves. Radical. Boone is becoming lucid with the lack of oxygen. He sees images of Garma and others killed by the White Devil. He wakes to Uzuo, who tells him that they were able to make the switch. As they switch over the power, Renault and her team are able to spot the Mad Angler on the radar. Boone tells everyone to head back to their post. This is going to be their only chance to try to make it back up to the surface. Everyone struggles to breathe as the air is thin. They aren't going to make it. Boone suggests that he goes out in a Zaku Marine to help out, but it can only handle 500 meters and they are currently at 1,220 meters. Uzuo passes out. Boone goes to help her, but he is also barely holding it together. This guy can't breathe, but he looks super high right now. That is when Renault comes in. She tells them that she is the one who killed the Admiral and is taking command. She isn't there to save them. She is there to take the ship. Boone says that he will see her on the surface. They are too deep for the Zaku Marine, but Boone wants to rotate the Mad Angler to allow the Zaku to get a little boost. He tells the rest of the crew about the plan. He calls it Operation Reverse Thrust Stand. Terrible. They plan on flipping the ship, and the crew will have to make a run to the stern. While they do so, they have to close off each section of the Mad Angler. If one person gets left behind, they will suffocate. He gets Uzuo and the engineers to help prep the Zaku Marine. He also tells one Zeon soldier with his guitar that he has a special task. Oh no. The ship begins rocking. Everyone is trying to climb the ship and struggling to hilarious levels. As they climb, they hear the Zeon anthem. It is Guitar Guy. One man busts his head open trying to climb. Meanwhile, Soleil is experiencing a little bit of PTSD after killing someone. Man, we really have streamlined the process of trauma. Nice and efficient. Lottie Ricci is the POW, a part of the Renault team that was negotiating with Alhip before the little boy shot her. She is concerned about what Renault plans on achieving. She says that Lottie isn't cut out for war. We flash back to find out that Commander Cody was shot by Renault after he held a gun to Soleil's face. It seems this is the moment in which she has lost it. Back at the Mad Angler, it is almost completely vertical. Guitar Guy is jamming out with an injured Godard. It seems some Zeon men attacked him while climbing and made him fall. We flash back to a time when Godard and Guitar Guy have a meal. Guitar Guy states that he recognizes that Godard is a Zeon from Earth, which is rare, but Guitar Guy is the same. Guitar Guy says, "Let's go back to Earth and jam out." Yeah, he's doing his own thing. The ship is a full 90 degrees. The crew chants for Boone. He gets into his Saqua Marine and preps to surface. And that will do it for this episode. Boone seems to experience one messed up situation after another. His burdens of the Gundam weren't as bad as the last episode, considering he could barely breathe and was on the verge of death. We will be taking a break from this as the translator is still in the midst of translation, so we gotta give that buffer time. But that will do it for now, new types. Remember, start 'em young. Ah yes, I remember my first Admiral assassination. Peace.